All right. Welcome back to Bible for Talk with me, Dwayne Brown. Bible for Talk is a place where we talk about the Bible, verse about the Bible, books about the Bible. Talk about people who write books about the Bible and the true meaning of some of the scriptures. Bible for Talk is where we talk about the Bible and the things that's hidden within the Bible. And it helps us to get to a better place. All right. We are right now reading from Brother Herbert J Brunswick. And we are reading his Hidden Truth Revealed. And we are on chapter 4 or section 4. And it is about grace. Grace is where we find out what grace we are actually under, how grace works, how to obtain grace, and is grace really and truly unmerited favor? And is God just pick and choose who he wants to enter and you don't have to do anything? Alright, let's get back into it with the reading. Last sentence we left off. For I will forgive their iniquities and I will remember their sins no more. That's the true definition of forgiveness. When you forgive somebody and you don't remember what they did. But if you forgive somebody and you remember what they did, is you really and truly forgive them? Or you just tolerating them? All right, let's go. Much of the confusion we have about the word law is that it's sometimes referred to the Ten Commandments and at other times referred to the various ordinances. Understanding the context of the discussion is the key to understanding and using the correct meaning of certain words. That's what I keep saying, man. People, context is very important. We must understand the context of a sentence, of a word being used. That's why I strongly suggest that you go and you get a dictionary, Bible dictionary. I can't suggest or tell you which one is better because truth be told, I don't really know which one is the best out there. All I know is that the Father blessed me with meeting somebody or consider my spiritual brother, which recommend me by this one. Do I recommend anybody get this one? I do not. You just have to be a judge on your own. Go and find one that works and understand certain words, and when it being used, if it got different meaning, understand all the meaning. Because if you're going against somebody as a pastor or somebody that studied the text for years, Pharisees and Sadducees, they had been studying the text for years, that's what they do. You know what I mean? So you gotta go against some of these sometimes. You know what I mean? Some of them probably might be the leader of a church or a building or whatever the situation is. But that doesn't mean they actually know the true meaning of things. I think Christ talked about them who was studying and seeking, but they could never find. You know what I mean? Because it was not meant for them. You know what I mean? They don't want to subject them to themselves as the under the Father law, but they just wanted to know what's going on so they could prepare and set up things to go against the Father. Because you gotta remember, they don't want to actually go into heaven, but they want to close the doors. So it's only right they study these things so when other people going and try to go in the door, they could close the path to that door. So you on your own, you by yourself, you must do your due diligence. All right. using the correct meaning of certain words. The word law is used interchangeably in the Bible. This is why there seems to be a difference in understanding what Deuteronomy 5:22 refers to when it says, "And he added no more." And he added no more. Huh. I'm confused. Should get a little bit more thing to that. Okay. For some reason, people believe that Deuteronomy 5:22 is evidence that God did not add the ordinance to the covenant. They believe that this is saying God added the 10 commandments because man was sinful. Well, if that was the case, then why did God add the provision in the covenant for people to make sacrifice offering to atone for sin? Were not the ordinance of divine service added to the covenant? What was the purpose of these ordinances? What was the purpose of setting up a process to atone for sin? The breaking of the commandments, the covenant. What was the testator? The testament in the Old Testament was the ordinance were added. How can we say that the 10 commandments were added because of sin when sin is the breaking of the 10 commandments? I think it's just my thoughts. The 10 commandments was a guidance, basically, to get us back into get us back into the grace of the Father. I personally believe the 10 commandments and the commandments had been out way before Moses come down from the mountain. It had been out a lot before that, because what did Abraham did and the people before him, what they did to obtain that grace and favor from the Father that made them what they are. They had to live and abide a certain way, to get it. And for the people to continue it, they had to teach them certain things. So I personally believe back then it was there, but it was not actually written as a physical thing. Like I probably could look at it as stage before it was, but then Moses put it on. Moses bring it down. The Father put it on make it an actual visible thing. And then Christ now come, and after that, he put it in our heart. So the commandments, I guess, got stages. He embedded in us. I don't know. But I know the commandments had to be in the way before Moses, because at that time then everybody would have been holy. They had to be breaking and living and doing something. So it had to be in there. Something had to be in there to make people had to break something. I don't know if to say it, but it had to have something prior to when Moses come down. That's just me. I can't even get no scripture or anything about it, so I'm just going to continue reading. Because of sin, when sin is the breaking of the 10 commandments. Again, this is an oxymoron. We can not say that the commandments were added because man was breaking the commandments. It can't add. How can you add it before? This is what I'm saying. It become visible because man was breaking it. It was invisible, but it became visible when man breaking it. I don't know, sir. It's like saying a red light was added to a street corner because man was running the red light. No, the red light was placed on the street corner because men were killing each other by not yielding to one another at the intersection. Okay, this give me a better understanding for self. See, the law was there, was always there, but since man cannot see it, now I mean, since it was not written something, and it was something where they could go and say, yes, this is the law, they keep doing what they're doing. But then the Father bring it to them and say, hey, this is it. Moses presented to them. So now they can say, okay, yes, 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 yes. And that's what it is. But now it's not a physical thing. Now we could see it. Now when Christ comes for us to go on the grace, it is written in our hearts and our minds, so we can carry it with us everywhere. Okay. So after the commandment to stop the red light was given, a law was added that says if you run the red light, you have to pay the fine or go to jail. A penalty is not imputed where there is no law. Romans 5:13. Romans 4:15. Please, people, please do go and read the book, read the chapter, the verse, a little bit above, a little bit below, keep it in context. You have to see it for yourself to get an understanding. Personally, I would not recommend you read NIV. That's my personal thing. But if that's your thing, that's your thing. Romans 4:15 says, for where no law is, there is no transgression. See, back then there was transgression of the sin because, you know what, they probably didn't actually get to see the law. So when Moses comes, he places to them so they could actually see it. And then say, okay, you know what I mean? All right, that's a good thing. Before the red light, the commandment, was placed on the corner, there was no penalty to pay for going through the intersection without stopping, other than the penalty of death if you go into if you get into an accident. But man had already inherited the penalty of death from Adam's sin, so man was already sinful. But after placing the red light, the commandments, at the corner, the law ordinance said, if you run the red light, you have to pay a fine or go to jail until trial. That is exceedingly sinful. That is exceedingly sinful. Go to jail. Romans 7:7-13. This was how the Ten Commandments and the law worked together. The Ten Commandments, the red light, were to help save your life, and the law was to motivate you to obey the red light, assuming that you don't want to go to jail. But if you did run the red light, you would have to pay the fine, your righteousness, or go to jail. This was the work of the law. Please read Leviticus chapter 4-7. Wow, the entire chapter 4-7. Chapter 4, 5, 6, and 7. Pertaining to various laws and ordinances of divine service. Now that the testator has died and we are no longer under the law, we are not obligated to pay a fine or risk going to jail. When we entered into covenant with God, Yahweh, we become ambassador of Christ, Yeshua. As ambassador of Yeshua Christ, we live under what is called diplomatic immunity. The other grace. With diplomatic immunity, an ambassador could run the red light and not be fined or risk going to jail. But does that mean that he does not risk death from running the red light? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Another car could be coming and he run the red light, bang, crash. Sure, he does. He can kill himself or someone else by running the red light at the intersection. This is what Paul mean when he said in 1 Corinthians 10 chapter 20 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 23. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. I don't know what that means. Sure, you may have diplomatic immunity, not under the law, so that you are not ticketed for running the red light, breaking the commandments, but it could be a sin unto death. In other words, having diplomatic immunity does not prevent you from dying in an accident or killing someone else in the process. 1 John 5 verse 16 tells us there still is a sin unto death. There we go. This is what I was talking about. He did mention it. This is the sin unto death. Don't matter what happened. That's it. Once you break it, that's it. There's no going back in His good grace, because you did that sin. And there's nothing that's going to help you except death. Running the red light can be breaking of the commandments that can cause death. Committing adultery can be a sin unto death if you catch a disease because of it. Okay, let's go with what he trying to say. Naturally, murder is a sin unto death. 1 John 5:18 says that if we are born of God, Yahweh, we don't sin because we guard ourselves. Keep it himself from it. I don't believe murder is unto death. That's not the sin I remember that's unto death. Murder. I don't believe, but murder, back in the days, when you murder somebody, you are sentenced to death by the what they call them, the blood seeker. I think that's what it is. Those who, like, if you kill the brother or something, blood for blood, teeth for head, teeth for teeth. You know what I mean? Was blood for blood. So if you kill somebody, then you are the person, family, I guess, could come and hunt you and kill you. That's why back then, I mean, they used to run to the Levites, and they used to stay there with the priests. And I think if the priest died, right, that safety that you had is gone, because the other family members could come and try to seek your blood. I'm not sure. If you guys know about it, say it in the comments, but I believe that's how the story goes. Okay. Because we guard ourselves, keepeth himself from it. Just because you are an ambassador, it does not mean that you can go around breaking the commandments. No, you are appointed ambassador to defend and uphold the law. The commandments, not to break them. Romans 3:31 says, we establish it, and if you do continue to defy the law of the land, you can lose your appointment because you do not represent the policies of your government, and you as an ambassador become an embarrassment of your government. The same holds true as an ambassador of the government, the kingdom of God. Let me see how much more. Oh, this one is a very long one. Okay, let's continue. Hopefully, the above example demonstrate what Paul meant in Galatians chapter 3, verse 19 to 25. It reads, "Wherefore then serveth the law? It was added because of transgressions, till the seed should come to whom the promise was made. And it was ordained by angels in the hand of a mediator. Now a mediator is not a mediator of one, but God is one. Is the law then against the promise of God? God forbid. For if there had been a law given which could have given life, verily righteousness should have been by the law. But the scriptures had concluded all under sins, that the promise by faith of Christ might be given to them that believe. But before faith come, we were kept under the law, shut up unto the faith which should afterward be revealed. Wherefore the law was our schoolmaster to bring us unto Christ, that we might be justified by faith. But after that faith is come, we are no longer under the schoolmaster, for ye are all the children of God by faith of Christ." When Paul said, "After that faith is come, we are no longer under the schoolmaster," was he saying that we are no longer under the 10 Commandments? No, the 10 Commandments were not our schoolmaster. The law was. The law, which is the book, which Christ said, "Books was written of me." The books was written of me. That's what he was talking about. And they, commandments were not our schoolmaster, and they are not taken away. The law, the ordinance of divine service, is what man is no longer under. It was the tutor and governor, their schoolmaster, teaching them about Christ. I'm going to stop here for today. People, read your text. Read your text. It is very important, very crucial that we read your text. If you want to live a righteous life and live a right for the Father, like how hard is it just to take 5 minutes and read his text? If you going to school and you're studying that subject because you want to be a lawyer, doctor, whatever, you take minutes, hours, days reading to study so you could pass your exam, so you could be that. What is wrong with reading your text for 5-10 minutes? You're not even. I personally would not telling you to give up your whole day studying the text. If that's what you want and that's where you are, you can do that. But I'm just saying, 5, 10, 15 minutes. You could start off with 5 minutes. Just every day you say, you know what? From 5 o'clock to 5:05, I'm going to read my Bible. You go, you grab the Bible. Don't rob yourself by from 5 o'clock. No, you're going to look for the Bible. No, get it right there. 5 o'clock, you sit down. You already must be sitting down in your chair at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock come, you start reading. Read. You understand, you understand. You don't, you don't. Just read. And then as you read 5 minutes, 5 o'clock, then next after time, you're going to see 5 minutes probably going to increase to 10 and 10. Then next, 1 hour, you're probably reading the whole Bible. Reading the Bible for 1 hour. You got to start somewhere. And I strongly recommend we start reading the text. You know what I mean? Don't listen to pastors keep saying, oh, we all fall short of the glory of God. Yeah, we all fall short, but what? We're going to dwell by that? You're going to dwell by that? We ain't going to do nothing? Come on, people. Read your text. Text tell you different. All right. Thank you for joining me again at Bible for Talk. Until next time. Once again, please like, share, subscribe.